Good day, right. You know, tonight's an important night in Pittsburgh for many reasons. But one of them is that tonight is the eve of Larry Sweeney's birthday. So I just want to encourage everyone out here, as much as I don't like you, okay, I want to encourage everyone out here, please take me seriously for a second. Buy me, and it's going to be a present for me and a present for everybody here. And in addition, head on over to the merchandise table and purchase yourself a luscious 2 tickets to Larry Dice.
Luscious.
A present for me, a present for you. But all joking aside, you know, tonight's a non-title match for my Texarkana TV title, and how much better will I look in several months when it is a Super Indy Championship belt that is wrapped around my waist.
It's a very real possibility.
Last month I beat Eric Young, and guess what, Showtime? Let's revisit some fond memories.
Well, could Sweeney overcome perhaps the most inspirational athlete in TNA for the second time? Society? Well, you're looking at Showtime Eric Young. You saw those foam fingers a moment ago. Don't fire Eric. The most paranoid individual I have ever seen. I think he's running from our cameraman right now. As Eric Young prepares for a rematch against Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney. Rematch from 4 weeks ago. But it was a Super Indy 6 qualifying matchup. And it looks like we're going to hear from the one and only Eric Young.
Hi everyone. Hey, listen, you know, last time I was here, you know, I told you what my alias was, and no one found out so far, but I'm really Sidney Crosby. You know, things are going really good for us and the rest of the Penguins. Me and Mario sat down, we had a long discussion about you, pal. You know, Larry, last time we were here, you beat me, but I had a dream that we wrestled, and you beat me in my dream too, and I found that very unfair. So tonight, we're going to start the comeback trail for me. He's up on me too, once in real life and once in my dream. And tonight I'm going to try to even the odds and get on the right comeback trail. And I'm going to show you, Larry Sweeney, Max Champ, whatever that. There's no time like showtime.
No time like Showtime, and no time like the present, no time like before the bell for Larry Sweeney to jump Showtime Eric Young and jumpstart this matchup. Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney with those trademark feather boas draped all over him, as always, going one-on-one with Showtime Eric Young. And Sweeney certainly looking to make it 2-0, or I guess it's 3-0 in Showtime Eric Young's mind. Here against the paranoid Pied Piper of TNA as Eric Young walks into an elbow. Drop down, however, Eric Young connects with a Luthez press and hammers away on Larry Sweeney. And all this started, as I mentioned, at the Super Indy 6 qualifying matchup last month. And Super Indy 6 will be April 14th, coming up at the Court Time Sports Center, Elizabeth, PA. Already confirmed for that tournament, Jerry Lynn, Azrael, certainly Sarah Larry Sweeney as well as Jay Lethal. 4 spots to be determined, and Chuck Roberts now joining us. Super Indy 6 has the potential to be better than ever before.
There's no question that Super Indy 6 is going to be the best of all time. I know that's probably cliche in the wrestling world when you're talking about an upcoming event, but just as you mentioned, that roster, the list reads like the who's who, and we've never had a star-studded roster like this before in Super Indy history.
Eric Young, taking advantage of Larry Sweeney's short attention span, pulls him right back up into the ring. But what are your views, Chuck, as now it's not a legal hold when it's outside the ring. Now it's legal. But what are your views on Larry Sweeney using his feet on the ropes last month to beat Showtime Eric Young to get into Super Indy 6?
Well, you know, it's definitely, you know, an honor to be in the event, and so many men are gunning to be in Super Indy. And I have to say, sometimes it's not a matter of how you get there, as long as you get there. And let's look at it this way. Showtime Eric Young is not in Super Indy 6, and of course Larry Sweeney is, so I guess there's some justification for that.
Well, certainly he got away with it. You can't discredit that, but check out that amazing field. Jerry Lynn, 20-plus year veteran, can still keep up with men half his age. Jay Lethal, youngest man on the TNA roster today, only 21 years of age, already made huge strides in his career. Azrael, top prospect in the New York, New Jersey area, big star on the rise as well. And of course, Larry Sweeney, we've seen firsthand the kind of damage he can do in that ring. Alleged multiple time, I don't even remember what it is, 15, 20,
no idea.
27-time ICW, ICWA, Texarkana television champion. Fictitious title, not recognized anywhere.
No, I don't believe it is. And in fact, I think I've announced it wrong a few times, and he doesn't forget to tell me in the back after it's over. I can't follow that. But, you know, that's what's interesting about this time of year at IWC. I know firsthand, Norm Connors gets so many phone calls from guys saying, hey, do you got a spot? Can I be in a qualifier? And like I said, I have never heard an all-star studded roster for a Super Indy tournament like the one that's coming up in just a few short months here for IWC. And it's certainly an event that I look forward to because it's one of our biggest 2 events of the year, Joe.
Absolutely right. And if you want an indication of how star-studded that tournament is, look at the guys that didn't qualify. Look at Nobutaka Moribe. Look at Jason Cage. And certainly look at the man on the outside of the ring in pain right now, Eric Young. They didn't make the cut. Now, that tells you a lot about the prestige of the tournament.
Yeah, and not to mention that there are a lot of guys I know, and I'm sure you know too, that are upset in the back as, well, take a look at this. This, again is doing anything you can to win, as we saw last month, as you said, Joe, as Larry Sweeney, I guess, decided to take the short road. But anyways, back to what I was saying, all the guys in the back who are upset with the fact that they aren't in Super Indy. You know, that's one thing that's interesting about this tournament. If you've won the tournament, if you've participated in the past, that doesn't guarantee you a spot year to year. It just doesn't. Only the best will be involved in Super Indy, and Super Indy 6 is no exception.
And of course, it's every year tradition that the current Super Indy champion, as they recover and link 2 count, the current Super Indy champion relinquishes that title to go to the winner of Super Indy 6. So certainly that's right up into the championship scene, regardless of how few or often you've been around before. And that puts you right in contention with whoever that champion is. Big, big stakes in that tournament. A little bit different than we normally see here in this country, but that just makes it all the more special.
It does. And you can't help but feel a little bit almost, but, you know, the nature of the title, you can't help but feel just a little bit of sympathy for Troy Lords, who, you know, very well, you know, could have a short title reign, but, you know, based on the fact that we hold it up annually, despite who's the champion, it's just the way, you know, the timing. I mean, I guess it's better to have been a champion than to be no champion at all.
Certainly right. Double arm suplex into an ear fall. And especially after how much Troy Lords has done, the 7-year journey finally culminating last month with that win over fabulous John McChesney. You know, Troy Lords, you're going to have to kill him to get that title off of his waist.
That was one of the highlights of my IWC career, announcing him as the new Super Indy champion, because I had goosebumps, because I know I've had a great opportunity to get to know Troy Lords outside of the wrestling ring, and I know what that title means to him. I know where that title puts him as far as the pecking order in IWC, and he went up at least 5 notches. And, you know, some argue, you know, the old school style of ranking wrestling, he arguably could be the #1 contender for the IWC championship. Again, that's, I guess, an arguable statement, but when you're a champion, that has to put you up that ladder in the pecking order as far as title shots are concerned.
Very, very true. And check this out, Larry Sweeney, more nefarious actions in the corner. Have you ever seen such a, check this out, Eric Young goes up and over. Gets that shoulder tackle into Larry Sweeney, now up underneath.
By this contest, 15 remain.
Eric Young starts off offense with a belly-to-belly suplex. Cover 2-0. Have you ever seen two more contrasting personalities than the ego of Larry Sweeney as we see a crucifix pin 2-0 contrasted with the jittery, unsure, paranoid Eric Young?
Oh, not at all. And I have to say, as part of his persona, he is, jittery and paranoid, as you might suggest. But when he's in that ring, he does show unbelievable confidence as far as his in-ring ability is concerned. And I think here, if he shows any type of paranoia, or if he shows any sort of skepticism towards Larry Sweeney is liable to get 2 wins in a row, or I guess 3, counting the one in the dreams of Eric Young. He could get it right here at Accept No Limitations 3.
And if Eric Young's focused, he's among the best there is. If he's sidetracked with worrying about getting fired, that may be another story. As Sweeney just buries the right hand right between the eyes of Showtime Eric Young. And certainly if you're Larry Sweeney, you want to beat Eric Young for the second time in our world in order to build that momentum to Super Indy 6 just 2 months away.
You're exactly right. And I think this would be a prime opportunity. I don't think it's a good time for Larry Sweeney to be looking for acceptance from the crowd, because he's got to get a win right here over Larry Sweeney. You got to have momentum going into the Super Indy tournament. You definitely do. Whether you're in it or not, you got to have confidence. As we have, look here, a Garvin stomp.
Absolutely true.
That's the first I've seen. I don't know, Joe, you may have seen one. That's the first I've seen a Garvin stomp out of Sweet and Sour. And now might be a prime opportunity to get the cover. Who knows?
Well, if you're Larry Sweeney, obviously you got a hot dog and a showboat first. Took a little bit too much time there, if you ask me, and Eric Young able to escape.
With Larry Sweeney being in the Super Indy tournament, and Larry, right now, Joe, if you look at the roster of our competitors that you've mentioned, he has the most IWC experience so far, especially when you talk about the span of the last year. You almost want to have to say the guy is a favorite as far as knowing IWC. He's a home, it's his home turf. You have to look at it. And in any sport, when you are home, whether the fans love you, whether they love to hate you, that does make a difference.
Very true. Eric Young mounting a moment of comeback. He gets caught off by Larry Sweeney's sleeper hold here, cutting off the blood supply to the brain via the carotid artery, and Eric Young is fading fast.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen somebody go down to a sleeper hold here in IWC, but who knows? Larry Sweeney could make that a false statement.
Didn't have it fully applied. Eric Young able to slip out first opportunity he had, but ran right into his sweet and sour knee.
And wouldn't Larry Sweeney love this? Here, back to the sleeper hold, Joe. Wouldn't Larry love this win one day before his birthday? That'd be a nice birthday gift to have.
Another big ego boost. We'd never hear the end of it.
Actually, if you talk to him every week, which is kind of funny, I think his birthday is weekly. As soon as he said in the ring it was his birthday, I think he told me that last month.
I would not at all be surprised. Every day is Larry Sweeney Day in this guy's world.
It must be. But now, Joe, he seems to have the sleeper hold. Okay, there it is, applied. Well, this could be it, Joe. I mean, there's no place for Showtime Eric Young to go.
Great tight shot of it by our folks at Digital Horizons at dhvideos.com. But the one mistake Larry Sweeney might be making, Eric Young's body is horizontal, but Sweeney's is as well. He does not have the full leverage on that move. Sweeney's not riding Eric Young and making Young carry his body weight.
No, and he's got it in nicely. You can tell right there. It's not a chokehold. This could be no. Oh, wait, was that Eric's own hand that held his left hand up?
I believe it was.
First time I've seen that.
Only from Eric Young, and only here in the IWC as Showtime is back to his feet. Eric Young breaks the grasp of Larry Sweeney, charging and ducking the clothesline. Scoops Sweeney up midair and connects with a power slam.
It looked like Larry Sweeney was going for a Thez press, and he was caught. And that's a great momentum change for Showtime Eric Young, and perhaps the break that he needs in this match to get a win over Larry Sweeney.
And you can see Eric Young start to will himself back to his feet. You can see the look in his eye.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes remain.
As Eric Young, with a discus right hand, sends Sweet and Sour down, charging in next to the clothesline. Check this out. And with a shoulder tackle, almost reminiscent of the Ultimate Warrior here by Eric Young.
Well, let's not insult the man. Let's say Animal, the Road Warriors.
And drops him down with a Death Valley driver. Eric Young gets the cover hook of the leg. No.
And it looked like, Joe, it was tough to tell, but that was a very close That was a 2 3/4, but referee CJ Sensation stopping before the 3 hit.
Eric walks right into an elbow shot. Sweeney into the spine buster, another cover, and no, another near fall by Sweet and Sour.
Well, back and forth, it looks like Eric Young may have gotten a second win after that sleeper hold.
It's certainly going to take a lot to keep Eric Young. One of the most inspirational stories you'll find anywhere today, how successful this kid has been, in spite of all of his, all of the setbacks he creates in his own head, all this paranoia about getting fired and everybody being against him. But check out Larry Sweeney taking a chance.
Yeah, he's definitely taking a chance. And don't forget, Joe, his weight is deemed confidential by the Eric Young Society, whatever that means.
Yeah, and his hometown?
Yeah, undisclosed location, but we have no clue where he came from.
How does anybody mail him anything? But be that as it may, Sweeney able to block Eric Young's attempted offense here. Oh, we saw this. We saw it last month, Chuck. Not again.
Wait a minute.
CJ Sensation, our official, catches it.
Well, you would think after last month, somebody would be keen on the fact that he used the ropes last month, and I'm glad that CJ had the worthwhile to find him this time.
That's what separates CJ and puts him above men like Stephen Coulter. But check this out. Wheelbarrow. Eric likes to go to a neck breaker. That's one of his finishing maneuvers, but Sweeney able to elbow out.
And Larry Sweeney tried to use CJ Sensation there to stop from this move. Look at this, Joe.
Check this out.
Oh, no.
Pile driver attempt here.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Has him into the wheelbarrow. Can he hit the neck breaker? Eric Young drops in 2, and Eric Young victorious. Victory here by Showtime. Eric Young avenging that loss from just 4 weeks ago against Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney. Unfortunately, it's Sweeney that's still involved in Super Indy 6. He's in that field of 8. But Eric Young gets a measure of revenge for being embarrassed 1 month ago. This series, even at 1 in our world, I guess Eric's still down a match in his world. But be that as it may, Showtime. Eric Young victorious, but Larry Sweeney headed to Super Indy 6 April 14th.